Welcome to Vyas, India's educational channel that helps thousands of students understand a host of subjects and get a new perspective. I am Ramesh Menon. Today we have a very special guest, the distinguished Mr. Qamar Agha, who is both an academician and a journalist. He has traveled to numerous places in the world, lecturing on a host of subjects, and he also teaches at various universities in India and abroad. Mr. Agha, we are very glad to have you here and welcome to this special episode on India's relations with Pakistan. Can we start talking about the partition that led to the formation of Pakistan?
Yeah, it was a very painful event, in which almost 1 million people died and almost 14 million people migrated from one place to another. Communal rights were taking place at that time, on both sides of the border, and this was the situation when Pakistan was created, and it has not only partitioned the territories, but also the state assets like Indian railways or Indian administrative services, both IICS and the other services. Then Indian state treasury was also divided between the two countries, and situation worsened for a very long period it takes to normalize the whole situation. So that was the situation when India was partitioned, and immediately after the partition we witnessed a war over Kashmir. Pakistan sent the raiders, the Pathans, infiltrated them and tried to occupy Kashmir Valley. So that was the situation in which Pakistan came into existence.
And soon after independence, India had to grapple with the reality of Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
Yeah, that was a unfortunate incident, which has happened. With the help of these raiders, Pakistan has occupied almost 37% of the territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Kashmir Valley, the Baltistan region, and then Muzaffarabad and other regions of the state, occupied it, and since then we are having number of problem. Kashmir issue was referred to the United Nations Security Council. Then the resolution was passed. It was decided that plebiscite would take place, but nothing happened, because Pakistan refused to withdraw from occupied. One of the conditions of the plebiscite was Pakistan was to withdraw from occupied territories. They refused to withdraw. Now that was the situation, in Jammu and Kashmir, continued, for a very long period, and is still, uncertainty is there. Pakistan is using non-state actors, continuously in that region, India believes Kashmir is an integral part of the India, accession is final because that was signed by the Maharaja and the Lord Mountbatten at that time, So this instrument of accession is complete and final, we don't want to have any further negotiations or discussion on that. International community also recognizes the fact, that this is an integral. You see what was happened, Kashmiri, the partition plan, according to that plan, the Muslim majority state was supposed to join Pakistan. Kashmir was one state where the people of the Muslim majority of Kashmiris, decided to join India. They thought that if they'll go to Pakistan, their Kashmiri identity would be merged with the newly emerged Islamic Republic. So that's why they decided. Then there were other reasons. They have been living in perfect harmony for centuries with the rest of the country. They thought that the new state which is emerging in the name of Pakistan or in the name of religion, it's not safe for them. So then they made a very good deal with the India, that India promised them, given them autonomy in return, and they chose to India. And India was the major market for their products also. So it was a very convenient deal for them. and that's why remain India. We have centuries old ties, very good relations with the people. They have their businesses all over the country, and but the problem is the Pakistan is not willing to accept this.
It's become a sticky bilateral issue, Kashmir.
It's a very sticky issue, and they have been using it for Islamic card as a card, using religion. Pakistan is a state, which has come into being in the name of religion, So always they have been using. And the other thing, which is very unfortunate, they are using non-state actors. They are using Islamic militant organizations. These militant organizations, in the name of religion, they've been. With the help of these militant organizations, they have occupied a part of Kashmir. Then again, these militant organizations were used in 1965 war. Then again 71 war, the Razakars were used in Bangladesh, East Bengal.
And then in Kargil.
Then again, these in not Kargil alone, since 1989 they have been regularly, using these militants in Kashmir and other parts of the country. So that is the part of the military establishment, these militant Islamic organizations.
When did this Islamic militancy come into Pakistan?
Actually, it's long ago. It started with the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. At that time, the Western powers as well as Pakistan decided to deal with this problem, in the name of Islam, religious turn they have given, and they turn Islam versus communism. Jihad was launched against communism. Jihad was launched in Afghanistan. Thousands and thousands of mujahideens have come from all over the world to wage jihad against the Russians, Soviet troops. Soviet troops were ultimately defeated. So jihad should have been rolled back, and these refugees or these mujahideen should have sent back to their respective countries. But what was happened after that? The Pakistan in 89 started using against the India, these mujahideens in Kashmir and other part, and a new problem emerged, the militancy in Kashmir. They started sending militants. Many Kashmir-based militant organizations were floated, and they're based in Pakistan. Pakistan is providing arms and ammunition to them. There are serious allegations, even very recently the London School of Economics have also come up with a detailed report that the militants are having close ties with the ISI, the intelligence wing of Pakistan Army. So this is very strong links, they have established in the last 30 years. ISI is one organization which has also trained the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. So they had the experience in guerrilla warfare, and same warfare, they launched against India, and which is continuing. That is very unfortunate, despite having negotiation discussions with them.
The fact that Pakistan has seen a long history of military rule, how is it impacting their politics and the way they are going about their international relations?
You see, the basis of the state is religion, and then the second important aspect of this state is hatred against India. So what has happened over the years, because of the instability in Pakistan, so the military has emerged as the guardian of the Islamic State of Pakistan and plays a very important role. So what happened, it has not allowed the democratic institutions to flourish in Pakistan. So what has happened in the last 30 years or 50 years now, the democratic institutions in Pakistan have weakened. An army is the most powerful institution that controls everything, So the elected government in Pakistan is just a puppet government. So whenever the crisis comes or whenever the problem comes, army takes over. And then all the strategic decision in Pakistan is taken by the army, not by this elected government in that country. So that is even the constitution, they keep changing constitution. The number of time, what was happening. The martial law administration was imposed, and this is what the process which is continuing for almost now 50 or 60 years.
That's very sad for civil society in Pakistan, especially when democratic institutions have not developed.
Yes, now as a result of this, India is also facing problem. Our relations, suffering between the two countries. India is one country which has after the partition, despite of all those killings, riots, and India recognized state of Pakistan immediately and wanted to have closer ties. But unfortunately, the army in Pakistan, which is a stumbling block, whenever we had negotiation or talks, army doesn't want very friendly ties with India, because if the friendly ties, then the role of the army, marginalized. Army will have to go back to the barracks, that gives them a special status in Pakistan. The tension brought them to. So that is unfortunate, and as a result of this, the Pakistan civil society is also suffering. Democratic institutions have weakened. Popular movements have not been able to emerge. They have not been able to develop ties with other countries as they should have been. Particularly, I am referring to the India. So these are large majority of people in Pakistan wants very close ties with India. But it's the army, which doesn't want. I still remember, Nawaz Sharif won election, just because when he promised that he will have closer ties with India, people voted in large number. But very soon, what was happening, he was removed when he signed a Lahore declaration with the Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So that is a thing, because they never wanted a very cordial or warm relation with India.
One way could be economic ties that can bind both these countries, because that can make a great difference to civil society both in India and Pakistan.
See, India wants to have closer ties, economic ties, and with Pakistan, used to have trade relations. We are still maintaining, trade ties with Pakistan, directly, and then we have SAARC also. Both are member of the SAARC. SAARC also believes in economic integration of the South Asian region. Again, problem comes for that. You have to have a trust, and you have to have for that. After the Lahore Declaration, confidence building measure was started. Confidence to build. First, it was decided that both should. But what happened? After Lahore, Kargil happened, and then Kargil. That was another, sad incident. Hundreds of people unnecessarily died. Pakistan was forced to withdraw from Kargil, and then again, India decided that we should go for negotiated settlement of Kashmir dispute. As we have signed in number of times. First Shimla agreement, it was decided in 1972 that all our bilateral disputes, including Kashmir, if Pakistan believes is a disputed, India is willing to negotiate with them, but bilaterally, But what problem comes, the Pakistan always harp this issue in United Nations, time and again tries to internationalize the whole issue. There the problem comes, we tell them, to come back to the negotiation, we start negotiation, and then again, something happens, it will go on other international forums, United Nations, try to make it a big issue or regional. So that is a whole problem with Pakistan, and now international pressure coming again, there are two problems, major problem which we are facing with Pakistan, one is the militancy which is coming from that part of the world. And the other problem is absence of dialogue between the two countries. India has once again started, negotiation despite of Bombay terror attacks. You see, we cannot change our neighbors. We can, we have no option, and India's agenda is not a war. agenda is peace. Our agenda is peace and development, and this agenda comes not only the development of India, but we want the development of the whole South Asian region. And the government plan is to have economic integration of South Asian region with Central Asian region, because this is one region, where some countries are very prosperous, a section of the people, but still large number of people living in these countries. They are extremely poor. Poverty is deep rooted in this region. So, the only region, individual countries have failed to eradicate poverty in this region, whether it is Pakistan or Bangladesh or Myanmar or many other countries we have seen, Nepal. So, the only way is now left if we have economic integration of the whole region, and then with Central Asia, under which the pipelines would come. The oil and gas from oil-rich Central Asia coming to India, which is a major market, and Indian investment would be going to Pakistan, Bangladesh, and many other countries. But the problem comes, when we start negotiation, we start building trust or confidence between the two. Number of measures were taken, when we sat down. We have decided that the more train connectivity between the two countries, then not only from Delhi to Lahore bus service, which was inaugurated by Atal Bihari Vajpayee, then from Rajasthan also a bus service introduced, train service was introduced, then bus service from Kashmir, Srinagar to Muzaffarabad. And not only that, people to people contact were developed, but what happens, when you start negotiation or you start building confidence measure, then you would find suddenly, the attack on Parliament or attack on Delhi or major towns, Bangalore, Calcutta, or major towns where the militants have come and striked or killed innocent people, and last time it was Bombay terror attacks, in which hundreds of people have died. So, what happened? These things, scuttle the peace process, and then we go back to the square one. That is a situation.
1 foot forward and 2 steps backward.
This is going on for a very long time. We have not been able, and the reason is the thing is that looks, that the Pakistan doesn't want, the army in Pakistan doesn't want. This time again, when the elected government came, Zardari Sahab, the President Zardari has promised that he would keep Kashmir on the back burner, would immediately sort out all problem, will have trade ties with India. But in the end, what was happened, nothing happened, no major initiative was taken. Number of times, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had taken initiative, started negotiating with them, met them, tried to convince them to come to the table and sort out, all these problems, And we are hopeful, once again the peace process has begun. Hopefully, some result will come next month.
Pakistan is also quite upset about India's role in Afghanistan.
We have with Afghanistan, it's a historical country. We have ancient ties much before the Islam. This was the region. We are maintaining relation after coming of Islam. Relation between India and Afghanistan were further developed. And after the independence, Afghan developed much closer ties with India. Afghanistan always perceived threat coming from Pakistan. It took 2 years Afghanistan to recognize Pakistan, and we had very people to people ties with Afghanistan, government level relations with Afghanistan. It was only small period, when Pak-backed Taliban regime came in Afghanistan. That was the only period when we have problem with Afghanistan. Otherwise, we have been maintaining uninterrupted friendly ties with the nation, and Pakistan doesn't want, the problem is Pakistan's policy is strategic depth. They want, with the help of these non-state, so-called non-state actors or militants, to go to Afghanistan and oil-rich Central Asian republics, newly independent, these states, they want to have, in the name of religion, they want to to establish friendly regimes in these countries, And what has happened in the process, what was happened, the civil war took place in Afghanistan. Large majority of people in Afghanistan don't want this type of thing, They don't want a Pakistan-backed government to come there. So instead they develop closer ties with India. India is one country which has given them almost $1.3 billion of aid. We are building schools, colleges, roads, hospitals, giving them scholarships to the Afghani students. The parliament building is built by government of India. So we had a plan. We want a strong, stable Afghanistan and the whole region, including Pakistan. We want.
Do you think that there will ever be peace between India and Pakistan in the near future?
You see, that's the only way, War in post-Cold War era, or in the post this period, I'm talking about after the disintegration of Soviet Union and with the ending of the Cold War, war is not an option. This is the world is integrated now. This is the economic integration. This is the period of economic integration of the whole region. In this region, the world economy is integrating. India has made a lot of development in this period, made a lot of progress. This period because of this integration. Also, we have India has emerged as a industrial hub and service provider center of the world. It's just becoming, the huge investments are coming from all sides. But the problem is with the Pakistan, they still have not been able to understand the army in Pakistan, is the obstacle, which is stopping Pakistan coming to the closer to India, Rest of the countries in South Asian region, we have free trade agreement with most of the South Asian countries. The Sri Lankan is one of them, India is investing there. Now Bangladesh also, we have huge investment there. They are recognizing. We have we are also helping Myanmar to come up, economic development aid is giving to Afghanistan and many other countries, But the problem is with Pakistan, which is not realizing the reality, and continuing with the same old, strategy of strategic depth, I don't think it will be able to succeed. Pakistan is, as a result of this, Pakistan is having no problem with even its the most trusted ally, United States, and losing trust over there, India wants, the equal relation, friendly ties with that country, economic development of the whole region. We are trying to convince Pakistan to have the model, which we have with China. We have a border dispute, big dispute with China. What we are trying to do, the same model, and yet we have a trade with China, very friendly ties with China. We are trying to sort out border dispute through negotiations. We have a trade with China almost $50 billion. Similar model we are offering it to Pakistan also. Okay, we have a dispute, we will continue discussion, sort out all these issues through negotiation over a period of time, and we will continue peace and development of the whole region. But Pakistan doesn't stop. It's blocking our our entry into Central Asia because of its location. We want a real connectivity to Central Asia or Iran through Afghanistan, through Pakistan. They are not allowing us that also. So these are the problems, which is stopping India coming closer to the Pakistan. And army is the major factor, I suppose.
Thank you, Mr. Agha, for coming here today and finding the time. I am sure all our students are going to really benefit from this special episode of India's relations with Pakistan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.